Three core values have inspired thousands of people throughout history: faith, service, and community. One such group calls themselves Lasallian, and there it is, Lasallian. A strange sounding word at the start, but rolls off the tongue with dedication once you understand the root, Lasallian. The word begins with John Baptist de La Salle, who gave up his wealth and priesthood to pursue a God-given mission of educating poor children. By the late 19th century, La Salle's brothers spread across the globe and eventually made their way to the United States. By the 1980s, young college graduates began to come forward to take part in this Lasallian mission. The group formed, and they were called Lasallian Volunteers. Today, they serve alongside brothers in some of the country's toughest cities. Focusing on educating children from low-income families, it is their way of breaking the cycle of poverty. This is the story of a committed group of volunteer cyclists, some who have never cycled before, who set out to engage others in their mission.
A special group of cyclists are riding across the United States. The volunteers will be cycling approximately 3,400 miles across 13 states from Oregon to New Jersey. The group is part of the national organization called Lasallian Volunteers. Along with highlighting poverty, the group encourages people across the country to connect with their communities through service.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Is this going to change my life? You know what, it did.
I'm Mike Lead from St. Mary's County, Maryland.
Biking is a good activity. I mean, that's how we were built.
I'm Stacy Leard from St. Mary's County, Maryland. We were looking for an opportunity to see the rest of the country.
Karen Drew of Seattle, Washington.
I really wanted to challenge myself. I'm not an athlete, but I love riding my bike.
Tom Cook from Chicago.
Maybe I was a little concerned that my bike would make it the whole way.
Casey Wilson from Mount Hood, Oregon. Woo!
It was an amazing experience, truly life-changing.
Mario Rajani from Memphis, Tennessee via Chattanooga.
I love going places and seeing new things, meeting new people.
Mariantic from Washington, D.C. via Lansing, Michigan.
Doing a trip like this will totally restore your faith in humanity.
Melissa Spar from Woodland, California.
Well, I'm really lucky I get to spend the summer with my best friend, Elise, again.
Elise Gay from Woodland, California.
I got interested in this ride because my friend Melissa, I like a challenge.
Kelly Towns from New Orleans, Louisiana. Being Lasallian means you think about the least, the last, and the lost.
Tom Luja, Santa Fe, New Mexico.
I've wanted to do a cross-country ride for a while.
And Ed Phelan from the Bronx. I'm 71 right now, and when I was 61, I did the same ride. It was fun, and I'm back.
The core team is ready. It will be an epic journey across America that for months they have been preparing. Will they touch the hearts and minds of strangers and friends along the way? LVs RIDE. When I answered the volunteer position to document a cross-country bike trip, I immediately saw a great opportunity to see the country, improve my filming technique, and create a film that would add to my portfolio. Once I was selected for the project, I was really looking forward to spending my summer biking while filming. But it wasn't until I really jumped into the project that I realized the profound impact these amazing individuals would have on my life. The core team of cyclists were among a larger group of postgraduate 20-somethings who dedicated 1 to 2 years of their life empowering the impoverished through education. That is nothing short of astonishing. I quickly learned that this cross-country bike ride was so much more than just that. The ride's main purpose was to raise awareness of the program that brought these adventurous spirits. The program is called Lasallian Volunteers.
My name is Mariantic. I am the Director of Development for the Lasallian Volunteers, and I'm also one of the co-coordinators for LVs RIDE. It was just going to be a bike ride, and then we partnered it with this sense of not only raising money for the Lasallian Volunteers, but as a way to talk about poverty in the United States and inviting people to join us in the efforts of service to help end poverty.
63 emails just about the LVs RIDE.
Just before the start of the trip, LVs RIDE encountered its first group of well-wishers. They listened to the adventure their fellow Lasallians were embarking upon, and you could really see how inspiring this journey was for them.
So the ancient Greeks had a question that they always asked each other, and it was the question of the one and the many.
The group gathered at Fort Stevens State Park in Warrenton, Oregon, touching their back tires into the Pacific Ocean as a ceremonial christening.
Into one. And that we are going to move across the United States as one group. People are looking at us from all over the world and all over the United States.
We're going to travel about 77 miles a day for the next 2 months, winding up in Long Branch, New Jersey, and I'm ready to go.
Kenny Latta, a volunteer at LaSalle Academy in Manhattan's Lower East Side, begins each day by opening the Academic Support Center. The Support Center, what appears to be a converted storage space, is an important department for the students at LaSalle looking for help with homework and other activities throughout the day. Kenny, along with a fellow Lasallian volunteer, is always happy to lend a helping hand to a struggling student.
I think it's always exciting when you don't know what's going to happen in your day.
This is day one, 49 miles. Let's just do it one day at a time, you know.
Day one, yeah, feels good. Tired, but this is what we trained for, and it was a good workout, and it's a good cause, so it was worth it.
I love when we first start in the morning. All of us are usually together for a little bit, and the sun is shining, and it's a quiet time of day, and we're just in our groove.
This is such an intense experience, and everyone's experiencing it differently, and it's great to have a support team when you're going through such a physically and emotionally tiring event day after day.
Has fixed her flat, and she is no longer afraid of a flat.
LVs RIDE makes their first stop at a food kitchen in Portland, Oregon.
In an hour, they're going to feed 300 men with only half a dozen tables. The Lasallians are all about helping people in need, trying to alleviate some of the poverty that strikes some of our major cities around the country, and it was kind of neat to see us, both of these organizations, working towards the same goal.
While Lasallian Volunteers' core focus is education, LVs RIDE had the opportunity to serve in several food-oriented agencies along the route.
I'm perfectly happy doing other tasks on the ride that help to form community, help to enable the other riders to do what they have to do.
Get this brother back on the road.
It was really beautiful to see how over the first few weeks it goes from this is how I want to present myself to this is who I am.
They dipped their bicycle wheels in the Pacific, and they're going over 2 months to the Atlantic.
First reading we heard today was Moses going up to Mount Sinai, and I've probably heard that reading 100 times throughout my life, but hearing it today, I understood the word mountain different, because we've been biking up mountains and you see them here, and it's totally different. I have a totally different understanding of that reading now.
At every stop along the route, the riders were greeted by what we called ride hosts. Families and churches willing to take us in for a night. Most of them were complete strangers.
Everywhere we went, every time we stopped them, they took care of us, gave us a place to sleep, gave us food.
People welcomed us with open arms.
People are good. People are really good.
Now I've encountered some Lasallian volunteers doing really cool work across the country. I wanted to learn from the Lasallian volunteers. The experiences that they have in the classroom or whatever setting they're in are experiences that I don't get as a teacher in a high school. And to also see what it was that drove a college grad to spend a year or two volunteering and helping others when it could be just jumping out and joining the workforce and making money? What is it that makes someone do that? I want to be inspired by that.
I think it's been wonderful. I can't go ride the bikes with them, but I can feel like I helped a little tiny bit. Oh my gosh, that God would just go with them and keep everybody safe.
I decided to become a Lasallian volunteer because for the best experiences I had were when I was in service to others.
As Lasallians are spending our energies serving in Lasallian schools, helping to help educate children who might not have the opportunities to go to the best schools.
Oh, he's really excited. They're a bunch of great kids.
In almost every city, we met so many people who loved hearing our story.
The message is just going to spread, and I think that's just awesome.
Well, it's a beautiful day in Idaho.
We've gone through highs and lows and mountains, rivers. After all that time, these people know me very well. They've seen my flaws, they've seen my imperfections, they've seen me at my worst, you know? But they've also seen me triumph.
You know, getting off your bike, putting it to the side, taking your helmet off, getting your food, eating, talking with other people about the ride. Then, okay, we're finished, let's go. Getting back on your bike, continuing.
Lasallian Volunteers. They're very energetic. They do things that they would never imagine that they would ever do in their life. They do it as a Lasallian volunteer.
LVs RIDE was really picking up steam across the country. The RIDE team had created a website that was continually getting more and more visits from cities throughout the nation and around the world. This was all to support the cause of bringing attention to the work of these volunteers.
No service. We're in the middle of nowhere.
We're biking by these rivers too. We're seeing water all day long, which is really, really neat.
Graham cracker, pretzels, granola, raisins, honey, banana, another layer of honey on the graham cracker.
It was hard. It was cold, but it was steep. But it was gradual.
But man, it took about 3 seconds for everybody to get together and everyone's on board. And I knew right then and there we'd be a good family together.
You know, to me, 1 mile just leads to another mile, which leads to New Jersey. I'm really glad we're in Missoula, and I'm really glad we have a rest day.
This trip always came back to service. Even when they were tired from biking every day and needed a rest, they served.
The best way that we shared our mission is when we stopped on our rest days. Those experiences always brought me back to the mission of the trip.
A group of out-of-state cyclists is riding across the country to raise awareness about poverty. They stopped in Missoula on Monday to take what they call the little way.
The volunteers took their sandwiches downtown. They gave away food. They talked to people, got to know them.
We go from town to town and place to place. We ask the local people, like, what's going on here?
You can work 3 jobs and still not make enough.
Jim Adams wasn't hungry, but he took a sandwich.
So I'll pass them on to somebody else that needs them.
So in other words, what just happened here?
We shared. What a concept.
I love that, don't you?
Yeah. It's hot out there, huh?
Yeah.
I thought biking was hard.
It's the little way. Kevin Mackey, NBC, Montana.
The stakes are just too high for the people we work with to not have LVs.
And he was always talking to his followers.
Food continually found a role on the ride, both as a symbol of people living in poverty today and as a means to strengthen the ride as a community.
Spirit upon us, he always wanted to be remembered in food.
Here, got my free ice cream. Thank you, Erica.
Big Dipper ice cream. You can take a look at the line. You can see here.
Some of the people we've met have really inspired me to continue to have adventures. You get to meet cool people and hang out with your other riders and just relax a little bit.
For the entire time that we've been together, we've been a family.
peanut butter and honey, I mean, I crave it. Like, usually you get sick of it at home after you eat it for a while, but now on this bike ride, I can eat it every day for lunch.
Ada Almgren.
Ted Almgren.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
We get donations from people who stop the van and ask what we're doing.
Once we're on the bike, it's a whole new world.
I just keep pedaling and I seem to get destination to destination.
The riders joined with many questions, mostly how they would be treated by ride hosts. But the riders began to realize there was a mutual bond of hospitality and an instinctual feeling of family.
I've been the pastor here at St. Rose of Lima for 5 years. No, I thank you for stopping by in Dillon, and it's kind of an honor to have you stop by on your long trek.
Breakfast of Champions.
I was exhilarated.
Oh yeah?
Best roller coaster ever.
I think just having the van all decked out, all with the whole map and the cause and the ride and the trailer, and everywhere it was parked, outside restaurants, outside Yellowstone Park, in Yellowstone Park. I think we had some good conversations with people about poverty, ways to eradicate poverty, what their experience was.
I rode 2 days with my dad. We wanted to do it together just for the experience. And I stayed on to be the support van driver.
Just hit some loose gravel on the road and took a spill.
In every town we stopped, we were received with open arms. People brought us into their homes, churches, and community centers. We felt accepted immediately.
And certainly they become neighbors and we become their guests at dinner.
You know, this family has been so good to us.
Hey, Danny.
The volunteers, after living in community with the De La Salle Christian Brothers, learned to become family and accept each other for their flaws as much as their strengths. Lasallian Volunteers work in tough cities across America, but with the emotional support of such a community, a unit of one really encourages what Lasallians call together and by association.
As an LV, I was challenged in a lot of ways. You know, LV's ride was very similar. I knew it was going to be a huge challenge, but I also knew that it had the possibility to change my life. What better than to explore the country while supporting a program that has meant so much to me.
After spending a few weeks with Lasallian Volunteers, I really believe they have a tremendous ability to relate to people in and out of the classroom and create life-changing experiences.
Describe what that means.
Alfred Jerome Martin. We're in Shell, Wyoming. Came in asking for some water. And wondering how far the Shell campground was, and they said another 20 miles up the mountain, and she about fell over.
To all those people out there who allowed us to enter into their day, into their life, thank you so much. My favorite day on this trip was when we climbed the Bighorn Mountains.
The Bighorn Mountains were among many of the incredibly challenging uphill climbs.
I feel tired. The support van has been great. We have as much water as we need, as much food as we want. Just keep going 1 mile at a time. You know, it seems like it drags, but sometimes, you know, you should just keep going, and, you know, it makes it easier here riding with other people because they keep you going too, rather than just doing it by yourself.
Climbing 5,000 feet for 20 miles, I can't believe we just did that.
It was really hard for everyone, but we all met at the top and shared that moment together and the beauty that was there.
Was it difficult?
It was a long climb. It was a tough climb. And we've been really getting to know each other. It's grown into a family over these last few weeks, and the mileage we've done, the tribulations. I think we've grown as a community within these few short weeks more so than sometimes a year or two living with people. We're being taken in by this wonderful community of folks with a nice big picnic, dance party. Everything's good.
A special group of cyclists are riding across the United States.
The group is part of the national organization called Lasallian Volunteers.
This morning we came to the men's building where they serve breakfast. It's really an incredible facility. It's really amazing what they do here.
Anything you can do, little or big, don't be afraid to do any of it.
The cross-country ride kicked off on June the 14th in Oregon and ends August the 14th in Long Branch, New Jersey.
I love my bike. I love riding. I could ride from morning till night. You see the country unfold in front of you. Whether you're on the west coast or whether you're watching cornfields as far as the eye can see, whether you're seeing mountains in the distance that you know you're going to be climbing later that day, to the way the clouds roll over the mountains, to the rivers that flow next to you, to the conversations with people that you encounter when you stop, getting on the bike and letting the world unfold, two wheels, one pedal stroke at a time.
Leadership, traveling, taking the adventure, they have a meaningful trip. Wish you all the best.
It's just an amazing group, proves that young people in their 20s are capable of doing anything that they put their mind to.
It was a wonderful experience. I loved hearing the stories of the young people.
Just raise awareness of poverty and try to help wherever we can.
A heat wave settled in over the ride through the Midwest as the miles started to catch up with everyone.
All the mileage is catching up with me, at least.
It's the most I've ever ridden in my life.
You folks are privileged to be in hot, muggy Montevideo, Minnesota.
It just feels like you're literally like swimming through the air.
They saw the lake, they saw an opening and jumped in the lake.
My body is just really worn down and tired right now, and so I'm looking forward to just rest and getting healthy and not tearing my body apart.
Every day seemed to blend in with the next. There was no end in sight to the daily grind. Riders kept their spirits up in hopes that something would change.
A bike ride is not going to end poverty, but it might invite someone to spend some time in a social service agency or something in their own neck of the woods.
Hi, my name is Sean. I'm here at FMSC in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. We pack food for starving kids all around the world. Today, Lasallian Youth, Lasallian Volunteers, and then Friends of Lasallian Volunteers from Minnesota helped pack 106 boxes, which is enough food to feed 63 kids for an entire year. Once we're out of business, then we've made our goal. We've fed all the kids in the world. So hopefully it happens soon.
It's 127 miles and it's our longest ride of the entire trip.
Together, we are going to do this.
I'm very emotional about it. I'm gonna miss them. I had a good time.
Sue Larson, the driver for today, Big 120. It's nice to be back to turns and hills again.
My mom and dad are going to be at the finish line, and I really want to hug both of them.
Being a Lasallian volunteer, you get into a tough spot and you just keep grinding away. I have, as only a day rider, I have much respect for the national riders that they're going to get up and do this every day until the middle of August. I am ready to hang up the bike for a while. It was great to join them. They were very welcoming. I think they're doing a great thing. It's just amazing to think that we rode through dozens of communities today that may have never heard of the Lasallian Volunteers or the Lasallian mission, but they saw us on our bikes, they saw the trailer, and it's kind of what this is all about, raising awareness, and hopefully we can raise a little money and help the program out.
My mom and dad are joining us today, also my aunt, Kathy Peterson, who gave us all the warmest hospitality in the world.
My name is Kathy Peterson. I am from St. Mary's University, Winona, Minnesota. And I got online, I checked out their website, and I thought, I don't care where they're going, if I have to drive 100 miles, I'm going to meet these people and shake their hand. You know what? I have so much respect for them and for you guys and how you are pushing it to the limit. I did 40 miles, and I can't go another mile further.
God be with you, be safe, and New Jersey or bust.
The number of faces adding to the mosaic of this trip fueled the riders every day.
Godspeed. I wish that others will have open hearts and open ears to hear your story, and they will be seeds that are planted that will take hold in the course of going across the whole path of the United States.
I have a whole new appreciation for everything that the bikers are doing.
Sue joined the ride for one day as a van driver.
Pretty much every town we go to Dairy Queen, a lot of ice cream, almost every night.
She was so inspired by the trip, she stayed for another 9 days.
And I'm so close to the end, so I regret that I can't finish, but I'm excited to pass the baton off to my teammate Kenny, who will get the bike to the East Coast. I'll be thinking of you guys every day and your amazing group of people that are inspiring people across the nation.
After riding a grueling 2,670 miles, the team gets 5 days of rest. 2 riders, Tom Cook and Melissa Spar, are moving on to begin grad school.
This is Kenny. He's joining the ride August 1st.
Hello.
I reached my destination. You know, this was the goal when I set out from Astoria, Oregon, was to make it to Romeoville, Illinois, and we made it as a group.
During the rest days, the team really gets a chance to wind down and reflect on how far they have come.
My parents have been telling everyone they meet on the street basically what I'm doing.
Downtime with family and friends.
We've all done it together as a family, and I would say this bond will last a lifetime.
Is key to finishing the ride.
Chicago, Illinois, downtown, Millennium Park. It's my hometown. I'm from the northwest side. It feels so good to be back. You know, I've been gone for 6 weeks on the road. This sign right here shows the bike path that I rode to train for LVs RIDE. It's right along Lake Michigan, 18 miles from the south side to the north side and back.
I'm Cassidy, so I'll be joining LVs RIDE, and I'm really excited about it.
A new year of Lasallian Volunteers gather at Lewis University. An evening of award presentations include a reflection by Tom Cook.
I'm Tom Cook, and I'm a regional rider on the LVs RIDE. 6 weeks ago, we started our journey with our back tires in the Pacific Ocean. And we've been biking for the past 6 weeks. We've done 2,600 miles. And that led us to Romeoville, Illinois, and Lewis University. And so when I heard about this ride, that it was going to happen this summer, and that it would benefit the Lasallian Volunteers, not only did I think it would be a neat thing to do to bike across the country, but I thought it would be a great way to support the program. A typical day on the ride now, we have some uphills, some downhills, and some flat stretches. I think I can speak for all the riders and say that none of us really like biking uphill. It's tougher biking, it's hard on your legs. We had downhills too. Some of the mountains were so steep, you just coast along, your momentum takes you. And then there's the flat stretches, and I think those are the best. It's just flat, there's no extra pressure on your legs like going uphill. You don't have to worry about braking like going downhill.
The thousands of miles these people are doing for a very good cause. It's an invitation for us to move out of our comfort zone and do something for others.
You can just keep a steady cadence and just keep going.
And so I was excited to see that they're coming through Indiana. It's almost like I'm seeing movie stars because of all these videos that are going up on the internet.
When you're living in poverty, your life is kind of like biking uphill. Some days you don't know where supper's going to come from that evening. Maybe you don't know where the rent money's going to come from. And for us, maybe life is kind of a slight downhill. We can kind of coast a little bit. We know where we're going to eat each night. We know where we're going to sleep. Lasallian Volunteers are willing to give up some of your downhill to make the uphill less for those living in poverty. And therefore it's straight across and it's an easier ride for everybody.
I'm really excited, and you crossed the 3,000-mile barrier today.
You're almost done.
Almost
You're on the
done.
tail end. Hang in there. You're doing super. Stay safe.
Those of us who have perhaps more than we need are willing to share it with those who don't have enough and can make it less of an uphill climb for them and a better ride for everybody. Thank you.
There's not a whole lot of volunteer programs out there that would take on a project like this. It obviously shows that there are people in this program that are pumped up to do things.
Oh, I'm going to be biking across Pennsylvania and New Jersey. These fellows.
We're on our rest day here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm glad that we've spent a couple hours knowing that this is what people do all the time.
It's just given me a better perspective of what is needed in the U.S. It's the small things that everyone can do to make a huge difference.
We were fortunate enough to go on a tour, and they showed us how they run their operation. They're able to keep frozen foods for people, keep things refrigerated. They're really concerned with nutrition. They have a nutrition program, and they have nutritionists on staff, and the people here are doing a great job.
How are ya?
Wet! We're at beautiful Ohio Pile. In the middle of the night, you heard the pitter-patter of rain, which turned into a heavy rainstorm.
I wanted to do the whole thing. Being able to be with it for a week was amazing.
Day 2, a wonderful anonymous donor has donated this money for us to have this wonderful meal.
This is the cold weather drop-in shelter. They've got, 3 more days, right? So, yeah, just good luck to you guys.
Big things happen because people come together.
We use the word together and by association to mean a sense of community.
We're on our way to Lancaster to see young people caring as much to do what they did this summer. It's tremendous. It's great to be a part with them.
Faith, service, and community.
Only 2 days remain of this magnificent 2-month adventure.
We're happy to be in Lancaster. We're 2 days from the finish, which is insane.
I'm really sad about leaving this group of people.
This is from Tom Cook. All the other riders, all the best as you guys finish up going coast to coast. I miss all of you and hope you all finish strong and survive this last week. Have an extra peanut butter or honey?
During a particularly beautiful stretch of weather and scenery, LVs RIDE kicks it into high gear to reach Philadelphia.
Today, Amish country lunch was spectacular.
Together as a family, we developed an indelible bond. With only 1 day left, it became difficult to believe that we would be going our separate ways. The entire summer was to become just a memory.
Tomorrow, we will be finished. It will have happened very successfully.
You know, I feel really good about it. I'm excited.
I think we accomplished a lot here. You know, we raised $90,000 of our $100,000 goal as of today.
I feel the power.
We did it. It was cool.
This is what Tom and Granny shared commissioning. They've endured blazing heat, painful sunburns, and awkward tan lines for this program, for the volunteers. So every one of you should be really proud of yourselves and what you've accomplished. Enjoy your last ride.
LVs RIDE cycled 3,646 miles, from the West Coast to the East Coast, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. They stopped in 51 cities, 13 states, and pedaled through 4 time zones. They climbed mountains of 8,000-foot elevation and traversed prairies and forests over highways, byways, city streets, and bike trails.
So this is a stick from the beach in Oregon. Melissa Smart picked it up on the beach. Carried it with her for 2,400 miles to Chicago. I carried it the last 1,000 here to the Atlantic Ocean. This stick from the beach in Oregon is going into the ocean.
In the end, they raised over $100,000, surpassing their fundraising goal, and met countless strangers they can now call friends.
2 months ago, we started on the Pacific, and we successfully made it all the way across the country. And we ended here in Long Branch, New Jersey!
we doing? Look at this. Hi, Jack.